Good morning, Ryan. What's today's project?
Well, today we're putting a valve cover gasket in the Malibu. So we'll show you as we get in there, but these have the spark plugs go down through the center of the head, and there's a recessed well, and the coil packs go down in there. We changed the spark plugs before we came to Florida, and we noticed that one of the wells was full of oil, and we just didn't get the time to do the gasket. So we have the gasket, we have the car. I'm going to unhook the battery, just because we're monkeying up a lot of stuff. I like unhooking the battery and just getting it out of the way. I see another problem already. Hose is all broken and split and everything. I'm not sure that would cause any real running problems, but that's supposed to let the crankcase fumes come back in and be reburned basically. So we'll have to see if we can find a piece of hose for that. And I don't know why engineers have to do this. That is literally just a hose to get from the throttle body to the air cleaner. But they want the engine to look pretty, I guess. So what we're after is to get this cover off this engine and change the gasket down in there. I'm going to get a few tools ready, and I'll bring you guys right back and we'll see what we're doing. I'm going to take the you don't have to take the wires off the coil packs, but I think it's going to make it a lot easier because it allows me to get that harness way back out of the way. I unhooked the antifreeze line to the reservoir, got that out of the way. I got the harness that used to run through here tucked back out of the way. So we're going to unbolt the last coil pack and pull them out. Notice I stuffed a rag down the throttle body. Kind of habit for me anytime I open up an intake. So there's all of our bolts out of our coil pack, and they basically just pull and twist. You see that one's good and dry. So we're going to set that there as number one. That one's good and dry. Number two. This one's got some residue on it. And this will be interesting to see because this is run just down from main basically. I think we changed these plugs probably about a month before we left. And see, that's not that bad. Now I'm second guessing myself. Should I just leave it alone? But it was full of oil, and we know that will come back eventually. And there is a bracket over here on the fuel line that I think I'm probably going to find a 10mm wrench and take it off. And I'm going to go find an extension. So why don't you guys take a break while I go find a couple more tools. There's our valve cover. Open buckets. And here's our one gasket. And then this is the gasket down here that is in question. see it's kind of brittle, dry and brittle. Cutting out in pieces. So that's the old one. You see how soft the new one is. So we're going to go ahead and get cleaned up and get everything ready to go back together, and we'll bring you back when we're at that point. There's a bracket over here you can see. I'm going to go ahead and take that off because that really made a hardship getting that cover in and out of there, and I just know I'm going to knock the gasket off 4 or 5 times. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it off, and we'll bring you guys right back.
So they provide you with new little rubber gasket O-ring things. I'm sure there's a technical name for them. Ryan might know it. I don't. But anyway, these are supposed to be replaced. These are very dry, and they do not stretch enough to come off of those posts anymore. So he's removing them with a knife. Carefully.
So once you get your bushings, your rubbers on your bushings, they push through the hole and they lock into the gasket like that. And that keeps the gasket from falling off, plus it keeps the bushings in. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to get the other gasket on. It has 1, 2, 3 of those bushings that hold it in. And then we'll bring you back and see if we can figure out how to get this thing in the car together. Alright, you see I got my 3 bolts on this side, so this side's captured. Sprite really wants to come help. I'm a little worried about this side just falling out, but it's in there pretty good. I could see where if you were really concerned, you could probably put a little RTV down in the groove and stick a gasket in it. But we're going to give it a try first. I mean, if you tip it upside down, everything seems to stay in. So we're going to come over here. You'll notice I've got the bracket out of the way, so I've got a pretty clean shot. So I'm really hoping that I can set it down in there this time without touching anything and knocking the gasket off. Too many times, that is. That seems to be the key. And then you'll notice, let me go get some of the bolts because we've got to get them started. But you'll notice on the bolts they have this metal piece that the bolt goes down against, and that's meant to set against the head. So this is basically a limited amount of compression that you get on that gasket. So sometimes the gaskets you can tighten them up too tight and squish them out, but in this case, because of the way these are made, it's basically, you know, torque them down. And I'm sure there's a torque spec. I'm going to tighten them good and tight, for good or for bad. Not a very big bolt, so, and once the spacer bottoms out, you're really not gaining anything by going any tighter, just tight enough they don't fall out, right? So we're going to go ahead and put these in. And I like to start all of mine before I do anything with tools. Everything's aluminum on these engines, and you don't want to have a you just don't want to have a cross-threaded situation. Get my ratchet, which I left right here. And I'm just going to work my way right around this thing. It's not a head or anything like that, so I'm just going to go snug that one. So we're back together. You saw we kind of fast forwarded through that, but this is a reverse process. Part of the fun of these connectors, a lot of them have these little safety things you got to take out so then you can squeeze to undo the connector. So it's a double latch. You just got to take your time with these things, figure out how they come apart if you're not familiar with it, and then go from there. This is the hose that we need, as you saw there. We're going to wander out and see if we might have a scrap on old Dodgy Dodge number 3, 4, I don't know. Who's keeping track? I may have bought a truck the other day. You guys haven't seen that yet, but there it is. So
there was a little more to it when he started.
It's a half-ton long bed, and it was completely rust-free. We'll take it out and show you the cab here in a minute. I bought it for the cab and turned around and sold the body, the doors, the fenders to a friend of mine, cheap. So he got an 8-foot body, completely rust-free, perfect doors, decent set of fenders. Fenders had a couple dents in them. But we're kind of curious if we can see if this old Dodge may have a piece of hose similar to this on it that we can rob without too much work, or if we need to go to the auto parts store. And it may be an auto parts store trip. I think I found it. Let's see. Get it back from, here we go. So, there we go. We'll go wander and take a look at the cab. There's a hood over there. You can see it's just a flawless hood, but hoods aren't in real demand. Our friend that was down, he was down from Maine, so he was taking all that sheet metal back to Maine. The hood we'll just save here. You guys may have remembered, but on old Dodgy, I ran into the mailbox plowing snow one day and wrecked the hood. So
We don't plan to do that anymore.
there's always
Plow snow, that is.
a chance we'll need another hood. But here's our new cab. I don't know if Sue can get you guys, probably not with the tripod, but you can see the cab mounts actually still have the barcode sticker on them from Dodge. Not even a spot on them. I mean, you just don't find this stuff in Maine. So that was quite exciting to pick up that cab. So that'll be another video coming. We don't know when we'll do that. It may be next season when we're down here. We're just not sure. We found a whole Dodge in Orlando. It's a 96 3/4 ton long bed standard cab, gas. So same truck as ours except for gas, and it's automatic. 78,000 miles, original miles. Looks like brand new. They want, I think, $5,200 for it. So we're contemplating riding to Orlando tomorrow and buying another truck, but we'll keep you guys posted if we do that. Try this one more time. Much better. And the scavengers clamp. Get it on the hose. And I think what we're going to do, don't forget to take your rag back out. You don't have to, but it helps. And what we're going to do is kind of set this on there, roughly where it goes. See what we think. Like, can we use the whole hose? I actually think we can. So I'm going to just stuff the whole hose on there. The biggest thing is you just want to make sure you don't kink it so that it can breathe. You don't want the case to build up pressure. Crankcase, that is. And we're going to go ahead and hold our mouth just right. Line that up. Line up our throttle body right there. All of our little doodads. And that's pretty much it. We have to tighten up the hose clamp under here on the throttle body. We have to tighten up this hose clamp. And as you can see, our hose is not tight. So having that extra loop really doesn't hurt anything. So now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and button this up. We're gonna probably warm it up and run to town with the truck and get some oil. And I want to change the oil. So anytime I do messing around with engine components like that, I like to change the oil after the fact. And this one hasn't been changed since probably a couple months before we left from Maine. So it has the however many miles it is down here, 1600 miles plus whatever running around we done here and there. So it's probably a little shy of an oil change, but that just makes me feel better, because if I lost any dirt or anything down in that engine, it'll go and just get washed out and changed out quicker. It won't be cycling around in there. So that's pretty much it. We're gonna hook the battery back up, we're gonna fire this up, check for leaks, and we're gonna go on and see what other kind of mess we can get into today. So hopefully that was a little bit entertaining or helpful, and if you ever have to do one of these yourself, it looks intimidating here, but as you see by breaking it down piece by piece, it's not really that bad. So we'll go from there. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe.